So don't we have the right to decide what we want to eat? Who decides that for us? Should the government be deciding this? That's what we're looking at this evening. Joining us, Sambit Patra of the BJP, Milind Deora, the Congress leader, Amina Sherwani, she's an activist and filmmaker. Thanks very much for joining us. Also someone who lives in Gurgaon, where this ban, in Haryana. Haryana is where this ban has been recommended. And Mridhu Jain, she's a publisher and a propagator of good philosophy. She runs an NGO as well, and she strongly believes that this ban is good. It needs to be done. Let me come to you first, Sambit Patra. What was the thinking in this? Should people not have the right to decide what to eat?
No one is saying that, Vishnu. People have every right to decide as to what they should eat, and there is no ban over here. I mean, as far as the slaughterhouses are concerned, they would be closed in few states. It's not about Haryana, because Haryana, it is just an appeal. Now, as far as the crux of the matter is concerned, it was decided way back in 2000.
Let me correct you right there.
Yes.
It's an appeal today, but we have in our possession, in fact, we aired it just now, 30 seconds ago in our story, a copy of an order which clearly says that those, in one district, that those slaughterhouses that do not comply face legal action. It may have been toned down today. I'm curious to know why that would be.
Now, let me come to the answer. Let me come down to the answer. I mean, this was decided way back in 2008. To be specific, 14th March 2008, in a case, Hinsa Vidrohak Sangh versus Mirzapur, Moti, Quresh Jamaat and others. The Supreme Court, in fact, gave a judgment. And let me read out 4 lines of the judgment. Because there was a 9-day slaughterhouses which were closed in Gujarat during the Jain festival. And on this, the Supreme Court had to say this. In the present case, we have seen that for a long period, slaughterhouses have been closed in Gujarat for a few days out of respect for the sentiment of the Jain community, which has a sizable population in Gujarat and Rajasthan. We see nothing unreasonable in this restriction. Now, this was the verdict of Supreme Court. Now, as far as this present topic of discussion is concerned, let me remind you, Vishnu, way back in 1964, the whole thing started when BJP was not in power in Mumbai. It was reiterated by the Congress government in 1994 through a resolution. And then in 2003 and 2004, I have copies of both the resolution, which was passed by the Congress NCP combined, that, well, yes, there should be the slaughterhouses should be closed, yes, and the sale of meat products should be stopped. 2003 and 2004. 2004, in fact, extended it from 2 days to 4 days. In 2014, this was the order passed by the Maharashtra government. August 2014, when it was a Congress NCP government, yes, because on 31st October, Devendra Fadnavis became the chief minister. This order clearly states that now, since the Supreme Court has given its verdict on the matter, what we have to do is, we have to keep alive the resolution that we brought in 2003 and 2004, and we can have the slaughterhouses closed,
I'm sure legally you can do that. I mean, it will be challenged in court. The question is that the right thing to do? Milind Deora, he states, Sambit states past examples of
just a second, 10 seconds. My question is, why was not this raised? Why was this issue not raised all these years?
I am trying to ask that question, Sambit. Milind, he raises some points about how this has happened in the past as well. Why is the Congress raising this issue now when, as Sambit points out, there have been precedents, certainly in the state of Gujarat?
Well, Vishnu, please allow me some time, because
my
audio got cut off and I couldn't hear what everyone was saying for the last minute or two. Firstly, your question which you've just asked me, which is what is the fundamental difference between what happened in the past and what has happened today? Number one, we consulted political parties, we consulted religious leaders, and the proof is in the pudding when BJP's own ally, one of its oldest allies across the country, is protesting so vigorously and vehemently against its ban. That on its own explains that BJP did this in a complete carte blanche way, number one. Number two, it's also very important to look at BJP's its performance in the last 15 months, both in Maharashtra and across the country, where they have promulgated and proliferated a culture of banning everything. First, they entered our movie screens by telling us how movies should be sanitized, what words should be used in movies. They got into our bedrooms by telling us what we can and cannot watch. They got into our kitchens by saying beef is allowed to be eaten or is not allowed to be eaten. So this is not just a ban on a food item, but it's part of their culture and their strategy in the government of India and in the government of Maharashtra to control people, to determine what people are watching, how they're behaving, how they're responding to certain things. And it's really an example of what we as a Congress party warned the people of India before the elections, that you will see signs of fascism. I'm disappointed, unfortunately, that in a year that they've come into power, so many people who voted for them, supported them.
Okay, Milind, I get
so
the point that you're making. I know, Sambit, you want to respond. I'll give you that opportunity to respond, Sambit.
So but that's what the difference is.
No, I'll take 15 seconds to respond.
I'll take 15 seconds.
Let me go across to my other panelists. I will come to you. We've got time.
Let me just make one larger point.
No, Milind, one moment. You made your point. I need to balance it with the other people.
The larger point I want to make is...
Milind, let me try and be fair over here. Let me also go across to Mridu Jain and Amina Sherwani. Mridu, there is legal precedent to this. The fact is, it is a fact that in Gujarat and in Maharashtra, other political parties in the past have said that there needs to be a ban for a certain period of time. I think the larger question is not that. The larger question which many want to know is why. There may be legal precedent. The governments might be empowered to actually shut down slaughterhouses. But why should anybody feel obliged to listen to what others say about what they should and they should not eat? I think that's what people want to know about.
This whole hue and cry is because of lack of proper awareness. What is the basic concept of the banning of the slaughterhouses? That we need to give at least 1 day or 2 days for those animals whom incessantly we are cutting them round the year. A. Secondly, we believe in non-violence. We all believe in non-violence. And the micro level and the macro level. Now, we all believe in harmony and coexistence. When we are observing these fasts, we have at least 335 into the world population living cells in us. And when we are fasting, we are trying at the micro level to come into harmony. Now, outside at the macro level, we expect the other people to at least come in harmony and at least not. Because jo jeev daya hai, non-violence hai, that is what we are propagating, and at least for these 3-4 days. How hard it is. It's 9 days for the slaughter now, but initially it was 4 days. And initially it started with 2 days.
But how hard it is for them. I have nothing but respect for your views.
Yes.
But then a lot of people would ask...
It is lack of awareness.
A lot of people would say that awareness is mutual and respect is mutual. So in as much as I respect your belief not to eat meat, and certainly to prohibit or believe that slaughter should be prohibited on a couple of days, why don't you, for example, accept my belief that I should be allowed to eat what I want, when I want, in my house, and that has nothing to do with you.
We are not stopping you from eating in your house. You
whenever
can get
I want,
food.
whenever I want, wherever I want.
You can get it. It's only for the killing of the animals on those particular 2 days. How hard it is for other religions.
It may not be hard, ma'am. It's about what a person should or should not be allowed to do. Amina, I think Mridu's really spelled it out. It's something she believes in, and there is also, beyond the philosophy, a scientific basis to why she says what she's doing is right. Gurgaon is a city that is a modern city. It's supposedly modern. And a lot of people who come over there feel that this is an entirely regressive step. Where do you stand on this?
I'd just like to give a small example that a friend of mine, I'm talking about almost 35 years ago when he was in university, he was in Aligarh Muslim University, he himself was a Muslim, he was not fasting during the month of Ramzan, and the bigoted gang came and insisted that he must fast if he was a Muslim, compelled him. When he refused, they hung him upside down from the balcony of the 4th floor ready to throw him down. Other friends had to come to protect him. So bigotry is dangerous. Forcing your ideas on others, whether it be fasting or whether it be non-violence to animals and not eating meat, is absolutely wrong, not permitted in India. Our constitution does not stand by it. Each one has got free will, personal choices to make, and they have to be permitted. We are permitted by our constitution. Now, saying that, if my Jain brothers feel that the souls of the animals are being tortured and they need 2 days respite from slaughter, in today's world with technology, freezers are available, it is very easily manageable. But why the ban on the sale of the meat as well? I can understand we can halt slaughter, we can store meat, there is no problem. With technology, intelligence and love and affection for each other, every problem can be solved. But the forces of polarization are deep at work. My friend Sambit, who speaks continuously without giving a break and not even breathing sometimes. I've got to learn that art from you, Sambit. Give me your number, I'll learn.
No, what is the problem that you have whether I speak? I speak continuously the truth. I don't ignore that.
Somebody ignore that last comment.
Madam, at least I don't spew venom.
You do
venom over here.
It was wrong of her to have personalized that.
You all have an agenda.
Let's not personalize. Let us not personalize. Somebody made a mistake.
Certain people
she made a mistake. It was wrong of her to say that.
At least I don't.
Let's stick to the point.
Yes, she should apologize for this.
No,
I totally apologize. She
apologizes.
I apologize.
Close the eyes. When the midday was banned in Kerala, they could not see. When midday was banned in Kerala,
I think we are going away from the topic.
She was not visible anywhere.
Now, Amina,
we are
Amina, you have lost your opportunity. I'll come back to you in a few minutes.
This pseudo-liberals,
maybe humor to you, it's not humor to somebody else. 1 minute. Let's take to the subject.
Let's come to the subject.
Amina, for humor. The pseudo-liberals have to be shown the mirror.
You're here to discuss the subject. Let's just discuss that. Let's not look at other extraneous issues. Submit one moment. No, you made your point. I'll come back to you. But can I conduct the show if you don't mind? Thank you.